we need to have a serious discussion about rabbits and hot weather. Hi pet people, welcome to my channel. I am Beck. This is Pet Life with Beck. Now, in a lot of the world right now, Northern Hemisphere people, obviously it is summer. There are some really crazy heat waves going on and some really high record-breaking summer temperatures. Now, I know in some parts of the world, such as England, it's quite common to keep rabbits out in gardens or in sheds out in the backyard. And in Australia, I mean, some people still do keep their rabbits outside, but there is a much bigger stigma against keeping rabbits outside because extreme summer temperatures are very dangerous for rabbits. Now, I keep seeing posts everywhere about my rabbit's overheating, how do I stop my rabbit from overheating, what can I do for them? And it's even some really scary ones where the rabbits have become really unwell or have nearly died for various reasons. Now, the easiest thing obviously to do to prevent your rabbit from overheating and protect them from hot days is to bring them inside. Now, it doesn't just have to be one very hot day for your rabbit to die from heat stroke, say like a 45 degrees Celsius day. That is extremely dangerous, obviously, for any animal to be outside in, but the temperature doesn't have to be nearly that extreme for it to be detrimental to your rabbit. Just because your rabbit survives through a 33 degrees Celsius summer day doesn't mean that they haven't suffered through that day. And often it is when you have hot weather that's not too hot but sustained over multiple days that can just as easily lead to heat exhaustion and heat stroke as much as a more extreme temperature such as that 45 degrees Celsius day can in one day. So something to keep in mind is just because your rabbit has made it through the day with an ice pack or a cooling fan or whatever it may be doesn't mean they haven't suffered in that weather. So what can you do to help your rabbits out? Now, the answer, obviously, bring them inside. And obviously you may not have room for a proper setup inside. You may not be able to accommodate your rabbit properly, but in my opinion, that doesn't matter. It's only for a day or a couple of days or a week. Your rabbit may be in a slightly smaller space. You might not have enough room to sort of free roam them. They might be a little bit stressed out, but in my opinion, all of that is overridden by the fact that they are safe. So their safety is really the most important thing in this scenario. It doesn't matter that their space might be a little bit small, they've only got room for less toys or less running around, or it's a little bit stressful for them being indoors when they wouldn't normally be. Like I said, the fact that they are safe and healthy is by far the priority in this situation, and especially since it's only temporary until the weather cools down again. So here in Australia, it's very common. We have very hot days all the time in summer. It's not uncommon for us to get above sort of 42 degrees Celsius. It's not obviously every day, it's not for a month-long period, but it's every summer we get 42 degrees and above, at least where I live. So the thought of keeping rabbits outside permanently isn't something that crosses my mind. Some people still do keep their rabbits outside, but they always bring them in on hot days. Here, we're actually told to bring your rabbits inside for temperatures anything over 28 degrees Celsius, which really isn't that hot when you think about it compared to some of the other temperatures. But like I said, if you're getting mildly hot days for extended periods of time, that can cause just as much heat stress as one extremely hot day. So keep that in mind. So one of the things that I wanted to mention was I saw this post over on Facebook, and I think it came from Instagram, and I think it's from the UK, but I'm not 100% sure. This is somebody who kept their rabbit outside in a hutch and used a water bottle for their water source. Now, I'm a fan of water bottles over bowls any day, but for multiple reasons, this has sort of really emphasized the need for water bowls over water bottles. And what had happened was the hutch was either partly in the sun or in the sun for some of the day, and with the extreme hot weather, the sun through the glass of that water bottle had then set the bedding inside the hutch on fire. So the hutch is largely burned on the inside and part of the front of the hutch, and then the rabbit has ended up in the vet hospital for I'm not sure how long. I couldn't find the original post, so I'm not sure if the rabbit has survived or not. Now, obviously, this is a really sad story, and a really just sort of freak accident, and it could happen to anybody in that situation, but it really emphasizes a few things. A, keep your rabbit's hutch in the shade. B, have alternative water sources. If you have a water bottle, make sure it's in a shaded part of the hutch, and also provide a ceramic water bowl, a heavy water bowl with water in it. Not only can water bottles fail, like they can fill up their bowls with bedding or something, so I always recommend if you're going to have a bowl, have 2 water bowls. But even if that hutch hadn't caught on fire, just think about the sun on that glass water bottle and how hot the water would have been in that bottle. An animal or even a person in heat stress, drinking warm water like that can make you feel extremely unwell and doesn't do anything to help cool you down, and in fact can be quite detrimental. So just some things to consider. I'm not trying to have a go at anyone. Obviously, I really feel for that person who had that scenario happen to them, but we're dealing with the safety of our pets, and it's our responsibility to make sure that our pets are safe and well at all times. Obviously, accidents happen, but we need to take steps and preventative measures to keep them safe as much as possible, and that includes bringing them in when it's really hot, or keeping them warm during cold temperatures, and all those sorts of things. Now you may be thinking to yourself, wild rabbits live in Australia. No, they're not native. They are introduced European rabbits in Australia, and yes, they do live out in really arid, hot areas. But rabbits are crepuscular. That means they prefer to come out at dawn and dusk when the weather's a bit cooler. Now, rabbits obviously are also burrowing animals. So rabbits in the wild will spend the heat of the day inside their burrows. And burrows, to the best of my memory, burrows stay around about 18 to 21 degrees Celsius, even in quite hot climates. So when you're underground, it's always going to be cooler. And that's where rabbits can survive in those extreme temperatures when they have these cooling burrows. As pet owners, our rabbits don't have burrows. They might have a hutch or a pen or a shed or some sort of enclosure that they're in, but unless we can cool that with air conditioning, we're not going to match anything like they get from a natural soil burrow. Things to watch out for with your rabbit in terms of signs of heat stress is obviously panting or open mouth breathing. If your rabbit is open mouth breathing, it means they are struggling to breathe. Sometimes their head will be tilted up towards like the sky or the ceiling. That means they are struggling to get more airflow. Rabbits' ears, when they are too hot, will be hot themselves, because more blood flow is directed to the large blood vessels in the ears to help cool them down. So a rabbit's ears will feel very, very hot. And you might also see drooling or wet nose, that sort of thing. That's a symptom of like that stress and the overheating. Maybe they'll have their front paws dipped in a water bowl or something like that. They'll be very lethargic. A lot of signs and things to look out for. So just be very, very mindful with your rabbits. They are very sensitive creatures sometimes, and we just need to take the best care of them that we can. I understand not everybody has a suitable space indoors for their rabbit, but that doesn't mean you can't just pop them in a dog crate, inside the laundry for the day, or inside your bathroom, or wherever they need to go just to get them out of that extreme heat. Once again, I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm not trying to attack anybody personally. I'm really passionate about keeping rabbits out of the heat, because I know heat kills so many rabbits every single year when people don't take the risk seriously, and I don't want to see that happening to any of you guys. I don't want you guys to lose your bunnies because they got too hot and died of heat stroke. So, bit of a bummer, this little video, and it's actually not the video I originally had scheduled for this week, but I've seen a few posts around, and I know the extreme summer temperatures are really bad up in the Northern Hemisphere this year, so I felt like I had to say something. I had to put this video out just to get in touch with you guys. Down here in Australia, we do understand that heat that you're going through. We do know what it's like. Please do what you can to bring your rabbits indoors. It doesn't have to be a perfect setup. It's only temporary. And look out for each other as well. Just give each other tips and advice and say, hey, have you considered being able to bring them indoors this way for a short period of time? And don't forget to make sure you know where your nearest rabbit savvy vet is, just in case you need them. Thanks very much for watching. See you again next time for another video. Bye.